Hey, what's happening? It's Willy the Composer here with another YouTube video where I'm going to answer some questions for you, okay? Where do you draw inspiration from for the music? Now, this is a question that a lot of people who make music get asked, and everybody who makes music has a little bit of trouble answering this question because you never really know where inspiration can come from. It can come from anywhere. I mean, for me, it just comes from everyday life, I guess. You know, it's just whatever happens to be going through my head at the time. Is it a reflection of who I am as a person? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And it's really hard to tell, which is which. But either way, it at least comes from me in that it's a thought that I had. But if you mean like specifically what artists inspire me, there's a huge list, but my favorite artists would be 60s classic rock groups. You know, hippies and the like. The Beatles, of course, who I've been into since I was 5 years old. But, I also like Zeppelin, The Who, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors a whole lot, Frank Zappa, and the great singer Harry Nilsson, things like that. I also like the people who they like, so I like the 50s rock and rollers who came before them. Jazz is pretty cool. It's not exactly my particular genre that I like to listen to a ton, but I prefer rock and roll. As far as anything current goes, I like newer hip-hop artists. Sorry, indie people, I'm just old school, I guess. Punkin is a gangster. Eating ducks. That's awesome. Well, that's not a question, but it's a really freaking awesome comment. So I just felt like I had to read it. Are you a tits or ass bloke? Well, I guess you could call me a tits bloke. Definitely a breast man. I mean, I don't mind a nice ass every now and then. They're pretty much the same shape, though. And breasts have nipples. And butts don't. So if it was between a girl with no boobs and a huge butt, and huge boobs and no butt, I'll definitely take the latter. I mean, not that there isn't more to women than just their tits and ass. But you understand, it's a hypothetical. It's knowing nothing more than those two things, okay? I thought we'd get to see you sneak up on your parents. Have you shown them the video, and have you been disowned yet? Well, it was kind of anticlimactic, so I cut it out of the video. When I got home, my parents were outside as I pulled up to the house so they could see me sitting in the car. And I wasn't recording at the time, so there was no real reaction to capture there. So I just didn't include it because it didn't turn out to be as exciting as it could have been. And yes, I showed them the video. I showed them the grade A video where my cutout head received the Ig Nobel Prize, which was pretty cool. Which they thought was pretty cool, and they thought it was funny. My stepdad did tell me, now listen, someday you're going to want to get a job, and one of those people might say, hey, aren't you that guy who pooped out the corn? Oh, we don't need that type of person here. And I'm thinking, like, what is this, like 1954? Like, what are the odds they're going to actually have seen that video? And if they have seen that video, that they're actually going to say, we don't need to hire that type of person. I mean, my stepdad's well-meaning. He just wants to give good advice. But come on. I'm going to look for work in the music industry. Okay, the music industry, not the United Nations. At what age did you start playing instruments, and which was the first instrument that you ever played? Well, I picked up the saxophone to join school band when I was 10 years old. Yeah, that's my first instrument. Ever since then, I've switched from instrument to instrument. In school, I played the alto sax, then the trombone, then the string bass. I took lessons in piano, and then at home I taught myself guitar and bass guitar. So I play a good amount of different instruments, but, I'm not really particularly good at any of them. Jack of all trades, master of none. I'd rather be able to play a lot of instruments, mediocrely than only be able to play one really well. That's because I'm not looking to be an instrumentalist. I'm looking to be a composer. The composer. I'm a songwriter. I had to be familiar with all the different instruments. What happened to the sweet corn? Hashtag free the corn. Thanks. Extra big thanks to anybody who did use that hashtag free the corn. So what happened to RE Life's Hardest Questions? Well, I didn't feel like it was worth making another video about because, frankly, I didn't have a ton to say. I submitted my appeal, and they rejected it. The video, Life's Hardest Questions, shall remain unanswered. Of course, I looked really upset about it because that was right after I found out that it happened. But now it's been a couple weeks, pretty much over it, and, I wasn't going to make YouTube videos like that anyways. How did your band director change the course of your life? Well, first of all, he's just a really cool dude. And where I come from, there's not a ton of people. So the junior high and senior high are pretty much combined into the same school. So you go 7 to 12 in the same school. And of course, there's only one band director. You end up being with the same guy for 6 years. And I, of course, being a huge band kid, a huge music nerd, I took his music theory class. I learned a lot from him there. I really got into, composing traditional sheet music a lot because of him. He also, allowed me to switch from instrument to instrument and try different things, because a lot of band directors don't like to do that because they like to make sure that they have, at least as many instruments as they need in each section, because it's a lot harder to recruit people for high school band than it is for elementary band. So yeah, he's really the guy that allowed me to explore music fully. He also brought the idea of competition band to our school, where we had a marching band that competed with other schools' marching bands in the fall, and then we also had a percussion group in the spring that competed, and which I really liked. That was my favorite. And it was just the life experiences I gathered doing those for after-school activities, most of my high school life. And, most of the friends that I had, well, pretty much the only friends I had were from the band. And he was responsible for making all of that possible. He's the reason I'm studying music now and why I want to be a composer and a songwriter and a producer. What's your age, and what age did you lose your virginity? Well, I'm 21 years old right now, which is a very interesting age because while the difference between 20 and 21 is numerically very small, once you turn 21, it's like something changes in your mind because you're now an adult by every definition of the law conceivable. And it really starts to click with you that if you're not already depending on yourself to live, you're kind of a loser. Also, when you're 21, you start to drink beer instead of liquor, because you're not just so excited about getting drunk and getting effed up. You just kind of want to relax with beer instead. Oh, and what age did I lose my virginity? 17. I was damn near 18. 17 and 11 months, but really 17 years old. It was nice. Have you taken lessons for all the instruments you play? Just 2. I took piano lessons for 2 or 3 years, and I took saxophone lessons for a short time, maybe about a year, and that's it. Everything else I really taught myself from the ground up. How did you go about getting your many girlfriends? Like the story behind it. Well, the thing is, I have had a long and torrid love life that actually has many interesting stories from it, and I think they deserve their own video. How do I go about getting girlfriends? I would get a new girlfriend each year, and the majority of them were just because I found out that they liked me, either from their friend or from they themselves, and I just felt completely confident saying, okay, let's go out, or they would ask me out, There were only 2 girlfriends that I ever pursued and wooed, so to speak, and asked out. That was it, including the friend zone one, who I actually was friends with benefits with. But that's never enough. You gotta be official. Biggest mistake of my life. What is your opinion of Satanism, specifically atheistic Satanism or LaVeyan Satanism? It's just not my bag. I mean, I don't know much about it, so I don't really feel that it's like my place to comment about it. But from what I understand, it's kind of like they're being ironic and they want to irritate Christians by saying that they worship, the nemesis of their God. And I just never been that type of person. I never really liked things ironically, you know what I mean? I either like things or I don't like things, you know what I mean? But hey, if you want to be a Satanist, cool. Are you Amish? No. You're not the first person to ask me that. I don't wear a goatee because I'm Amish. It's actually because it's kind of like a 60s kind of beatnik hippie kind of thing. And also because it's really the place on my face where facial hair grows the most. I am shit at growing mustaches. I get sideburns pretty easily, but mustache is not my thing, not at all. And so it's either this or a neck beard, and I don't want to. And I don't think the neck beard's a good look for me, and it would be a huge pain in the ass to try to maintain a clean shaven face. So this is what I got. Do you get easily offended? Like, for example, you are so fat that the zit on your nose looks small. Do you, start to cry? Do I look like I'm crying, bitch? No, but really, I don't think I ever get offended at all. I mean, yeah, I occasionally feel insulted or irritated or annoyed. And you can hurt my feelings for sure. But I don't think offense is ever the word for how I feel. Oh, and this little thing on my nose, it's a mole, not a zit. Because, trust me, I know. It's been there my whole entire life. And I hadn't even noticed that I had it for 9 years. It was like the last time anybody ever brought it up to me, until I went on YouTube, and then people were like, "Oh, you got a zit." It's not a zit. Then I got a couple questions of people asking me if I've ever been here, there, or another place, like you ever been to England, ever been to Australia. The answer was no, pretty much. I mean, I've actually never been outside of the United States. I've been from the East Coast to the only farthest west was Mount Rushmore. So I've never really been outside the United States. Of course I want to go. Of course I want to go to Australia. Of course I want to go to England. I want to go everywhere, man. I would want to visit every country on this planet Earth. Thing is, you need money to do that, which, if I'm perfectly honest, I don't really care too much for money. It's not money that I like. It's the things that you can buy with money that I like. But one thing that would be nice to have money for is so that I could go traveling around the world and really get a glimpse at everything. I know England and Australia are nice places to visit because they speak English there, so you don't have to worry about finding a translator or learning the language, so it's a lot easier to get around. But because of that, the cultures, while definitely different in many ways, are a little bit similar, unlike something like India or Japan or Egypt or Brazil, how different they would be. I'm subscribed to several channels on YouTube of people that travel around the world, look at different places, and talk about them, and that's definitely something I would love to do. It's just not in the budget. And there really isn't a budget to speak of, because I don't make a penny off of YouTube videos. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you learned a little bit about me. Hope you're excited for episode 2 of Willy Sochko Destroys the Flat Earth, which is going to have a little bit of math, which is going to be so much fun. So I'll see you then. Oh, and a shout out to a YouTuber by the name of Lizz Reptile. You can find her in the description below. She made a video in support of Free the Corn, so I figured she deserved some love. Rate, comment, subscribe. YouTube video. YouTube video. YouTube video. YouTube video. I